welcome to Daily Spiritual Thought, and today's title is Poverty in Mind. You may be asked, why that? Because how could the increasing social isolation be in proportion to increasing prosperity and wealth? Could it be that there a reference exists? Because if we take a closer look at our so-called Western culture, we come to find out that there are strange ideas among some people. And most of all, if it belongs to material richness or poverty. We can always recognize that when people accumulate wealth, they feel something unique, that they're more worthy than others, that one has made it. This, in reverse, means that the people being not rich are less worthy and are unimportant. And exactly these clouded and morbid thoughts we can watch in society we perceive this exclusion. The question is, where does this thinking come from and can we heal that? There must be a reason that this has happened, that we have concluded that wealth has something to do with money and possessions. If we look at it that way, it would be very superficial and it would be very arrogant. Am I right? Because it ignores the sense of what life is all about, recognizing us as beings, identifying ourselves as a community and as humanity's family. And we will face the fact that wealth causes the opposite, that people withdraw more and more from the community. But is this a natural process? Of course it isn't. In our childhood, we didn't know this way of thinking. We couldn't do anything with wealth and poverty until we learned through the behavior of individuals that they literally court people only because of their money. Before that, our life consisted of the wealth of the world. And ask yourself whether it played a role for you as a child if a flower was located in your garden or a neighbor's one. No, pretty was pretty. Your consciousness was to be part of everything, and we can apply that to many areas. If you went swimming, for example, then you didn't care who was in the pool, except someone had angered you, okay? We just enjoyed the community, the world. Nowadays, many people have turned away from the community and believe that they have to move life to their own pool. But our greatest asset is our sense of community, the willingness to be there for each other, to share, and not to rest on any values, to withdraw and become lonely. More and more people are lonely, and you can perceive that more and more people feel excluded. This contributes to the fact that we want to compensate for this inner emptiness with something as a being, and thereby strive for material things instead of looking the real cause, namely to provide for a new togetherness. We erroneously believe that when we have my car, my house, my you name it, we become someone special until we realize the emptiness is expanding and we need something new again to feel conscious. Only through this can we, in a certain way, perceive ourselves. But it could be much easier. Material wealth has nothing to do with true wealth. Ask yourself what would happen to all the rich and beautiful if the wealth were gone. Wouldn't they then be the loneliest people in the world? Their environment consists of people who want to pull everything to themselves. But when everything is gone, the community is called upon. But where there is nothing, no one wants to go. Thereby, we recognize very quickly that material wealth contributes to social isolation, because those who have something withdraw and sometimes even feel threatened by society. If we take a closer look, ironically, at native people, we see that there is still much for us to learn, because there is a completely different way of thinking in terms of wealth or poverty. It's about being one as a community and sharing the world's riches with each other, to be there for others. And those who live this way will find that feelings of poverty do not even arise, because we recognize ourselves as part of the community and feel richly endowed by the presence of other people. And yet, so many spiritual teachers point this out to us and show us that something has been lost. The question arises, what if being poor meant losing one's connection to one's own culture and community, or to have lost it, and thereby the desire arises to want to compensate it materially? What if poverty meant no longer being rooted in one's culture, in one's ancestors? Without connection, as in empty space, and all this striving for the material, the desperate attempt is to fill the inner emptiness which can never be served this way. Because what makes us as entities, as humanity, is the community, the exchange from person to person. And there, poverty or wealth should never matter. We are all wonderful. Maybe you think about it. For now, this is Andreas from Daily Spiritual Thought. Despite all these hardships we're going through, have a wonderful time. Thanks a lot for listening and God bless.